Tyler says it would be so
Yep.
hyped when the trade is announced on draft night. It says Budda Baker. That would make our live show during draft night a lot more fun too. Don't get me wrong about that.
That would be.
If we get Budda, our defense will be way better than last year. I think so. I think Budda is very similar to C.J. Gardner-Johnson in terms of production. They're very different players. Budda is very much a in-the-box, physical, hard-hitting safety, way thicker than C.J. Gardner-Johnson. Johnson, I'm not going to say was a better cover guy, but Budda is going to be a lot better open field tackling, and I think he matches up better with some of the tight ends in the National Football League, where CJ was always a little bit, not short, but a little bit undersized. I mean, Budda's thick. He is very, very physical, and if you watch the Cardinals in-season Hard Knocks last year, which was a disaster because the Cardinals stunk, Budda's kind of the one player that made you go, okay, this kid's really good. Like, if you could have one Arizona Cardinal right now, not named DeAndre Hopkins, you'd probably say Budda Baker. I can't think of another one.
No, I'm with you on that. I mean, Budda's right there at the top of the list. There's a reason that he's an All-Pro, a multiple-time All-Pro. So yeah, he backs up the game and the tape there. But I love it. Watching him, seeing this as a possibility. And I mean, again, yes, a lot of players are going to say, I want to come play for Philly because you've got the culture, you've got Jalen, you've got the coaching staff, you got the city, the vibes, and the NFC being a easier conference. Again, you could make the argument. I've heard people be like, it's not easier, but just holistically look at the quarterbacks on different sides. But either way, that's where a lot of free agents or players that want to get traded, they want to go play for Philly. Yeah. And so I think it's awesome to see that. But then the clip came out, and I had forgotten about this, but Budda Baker on the Up and Adams show said that he wants to play, practically said, I want to play for Nick Sirianni. And I'm just saying, it's to go out there or to make that type of a statement is like, all right, you know what? You don't always hear a player giving that type of praise, because it's also a little bit of a slight to, the former head coach, and be like, yeah, I didn't really want to play for Cliff Kingsbury, So, and now Jonathan Gannon, like, what's going on with that? Because he's requesting a trade. Is it Gannon who's forcing him out, or is it just altogether the Cardinals and saying, I got to play for a contender? And clearly the Cardinals are not it. So I don't know, but I love the kudos to Nick Sirianni and him being willing to say that, because obviously he can see from the outside looking in, this is the team that you want to be a part of.
It very much is. It's like you said, there are a lot of things wrong with the Arizona Cardinals. You could talk about that article that came out ranking every single team in terms of their facility and their treatment. The Cardinals were like dead last for a lot of things. One of the few organizations that make you pay for your meals, which is one of the most ridiculous things I've ever seen. There is a comment
What year is it?
I don't know, right? 1984. 76er News says, look up cards say they are not trading Budda Baker. He's off the table. That's what they're going to say, right? This is A.J. Brown all over again. Now they could.
What the Titans said.
Yes, and they could still find a way to extend him to a longer-term deal, but they're going to have to fork up a lot of money. So another comment said, why don't you just wait and have Budda Baker force his way out, and that way you get him a little bit cheaper, as Philadelphia did with C.J. Gardner-Johnson. That's also fine, too. Josh mentioned that earlier. It's also worth noting that if Budda is traded, this is not going to be his contract. You're looking at $11 million last year, 13 this year, 14 with a cap hit of 17 million and 16 million in 2023. This would get restructured. Howie Roseman would not assume this contract without, of course, already talking to the agent of Budda Baker, saying that they will go ahead and restructure the deal. So they could get it into that $12 to $13 million a year range, which we're talking about one of the highest paid safeties in the National Football League. Minkah Fitzpatrick makes like $19 million a year. So Budda Baker for 12 is very fair and very good value at market price. Yeah,
for sure. No, I'm completely on with that. Again, you never know. Yes, I could say there's lots of speculation here, but I'm sorry, I can't believe when a team comes out and says, nope, we're not trading that player, or they flat out tell a player that you're not going to trade him, because we see too many instances of it. Again, the easiest case in point is AJ Brown, because that hit home very well, and we loved that trade. But Mike Vrabel flat out he said, no, we're not getting rid of AJ Brown. We're not trading him. The organization said it multiple times. And then there you go, draft night. So you never say never, especially in this league, especially this close to draft night. Heck, all the players saying Jalen Carter's not on our board. We'll see if that's a realistic probability. I don't know if I'm buying that.
And I want to go ahead and bring up this brand new, I think it was a rumor yesterday or today, about there not being a quarterback taken besides Bryce Young inside the top 4. I don't know if you saw this. Multiple outlets had it. And this whole idea, one, that CJ Stroud basically ghosted Peyton and Eli Manning for the Manning Passing Academy. I don't know if you saw that, which is very weird. And for those of you who don't know, the Mannings hold a passing academy every year. Who's who of quarterbacks go there. Jalen Hurts went there when he was, college guy going to the pros. You get invited by the Mannings. You come out. You You're basically a camp counselor as one of these star quarterbacks to younger high school quarterbacks. And it's a great time. Everybody loves it, raving reviews. And apparently the report came out today from Brady Quinn, of all people, who was on some sort of podcast or whatever. And he said that CJ Stroud was invited. He had secured his spot. He said he was going to go. Night before, went dark, ghosted, and never showed up. And then reports are also coming out that the Texans aren't interested in CJ Stroud, that the Cardinals obviously don't want a quarterback, that 4 with the Colts is where the first quarterback will go, which on its own is its own storyline, but that really does change picks 5 through 9. Because if you're telling me that you're having defense go 2 and 3, let's say it's Carter and Will Anderson, you're going to have somebody trade up from 4 till 10 to get these quarterbacks, because if you don't like CJ Stroud or you don't like Anthony Richardson, somebody else does, and we still think all 4 quarterbacks will go inside the top 10, right?
I think so. I mean, at least, for the most of the reports, but it is somewhat alarming because I saw the report and I was like, wait a second, there's a likelihood now that it's not going to happen. I know that, Peter Schrager in his mock draft had 5 quarterbacks in the top 12. So I don't know. It depends on who you listen to. It's definitely not a good look from CJ Stroud. And I know that what is it? The S2 cognitive test, or I can't remember what the exact name of it is, but it's a test that they do, and Bryce Young, almost aced it. But apparently CJ Stroud did not do very well. So it's like a lot of things have started adding up now of maybe this is the reason. You've got this report of the Manning Academy and the other report. And then, just people saying that I'd have to go find the tweet, but there's basically whenever Stroud has a clean pocket, his percentages of accuracy versus whenever he feels pressure. And it's very drastic difference for CJ Stroud compared to most of the other quarterbacks, at least the top echelon quarterbacks in this draft. So I don't know, maybe his draft stock's hurting a little bit because of that. And so teams are saying, maybe not so much, but it would be surprising, at least with all the hype that we've had, right up till a week till the draft now. And all of a sudden we're saying, wait, this draft is going to be totally different than what we've told you for the last 3 months. I don't know. I feel like maybe it's smoke and mirrors of a team trying to hope that Stroud or another quarterback falls further than they would have originally. But, you never know. I guess it could be. It's something like, why don't you show up to, a commitment? You made a commitment to the Manning Academy.
Yeah. And
then you don't show up. Like that it doesn't make sense to me. And this is maybe a little bit off topic, but, talking about commitments or meetings or whatnot, but like Kalijah Cansey, that's a guy who I've been very high on. I think that you've liked him as well. Yes. But then the report comes out that he hasn't met with a single team, not an official visit with not a single team. Like, what? Why? There's just mind-boggling things of why would you not do that? So you never know. And this is how players fall. This is how all of a sudden you see this was a first rounder that's still available in the, let's say, 3rd round. Can you get a guy to fall like that? Maybe so. But I don't know. It was kind of wild to get that report.
Well, what's wild is there's unintentional falling. Like, I would argue you can make the case to Kobe Dean. It wasn't his fault. He was healthy. There was some sort of weird report saying he wasn't. He falls out of the first round. But if you don't visit with people, or you don't get measured, or do your, bench press, or do your reps, whatever, and you fall because of you fall out of the first round, you're losing millions of dollars, and you're losing that 5th-year option as well, which also gives you a lot more money. It's just very, very surprising. What I think is going to be fascinating are these teams in the teens, say that 10 times fast, who, if you have a Jalen Carter go, let's say Anderson goes 1, Carter goes 3, or sorry, Anderson goes 2, Carter goes 3, right? Indianapolis takes a quarterback. Let's say it's CJ Stroud. Then you have 2 other quarterbacks we expect to go inside the top 10, which would be Anthony Richardson and Will Levis. You don't have a lot of quarterback needy teams until you get to the teams, right? Denver or Seattle doesn't need one. Detroit doesn't need one. The Raiders maybe, but they did spend a lot of money on Jimmy Garoppolo. Atlanta's meeting with CJ Stroud. I think they did it yesterday, but I think they really are going to try to ride with Desmond Ridder. Look at all these teams behind Philadelphia that could use a quarterback. Tennessee could go ahead and come up. The Patriots, there's been a lot of Mac Jones rumblings about, is he good? Is he annoying? Do they like him? Do they hate him? Who knows? Then you get into the Washington Commanders. The Washington Commanders, they're not sold on Sam Howell, whether they want to convince you that's the case or not. I mean, give me a break. How about Tampa Bay at 19? Do they love Kyle Trask and Baker Mayfield? You could see some wild offers here, right? And that can go to the fact that Philadelphia could get some wild offers there at number 10, just so that way they can move back and a team comes up. What do you do if the Washington Commanders come calling, or the Tampa Bay Buccaneers come calling? You could get a solid next year possible first-round draft pick, go back to 16, and still take Bijan or somebody else. It's going to be fascinating if it's not quarterback, like we kind of thought it would be quarterback, trade up for a quarterback, and then quarterback, like we really thought that it was going to be. It's crazy.
Yeah, it could see something totally different, and I'm with you. You know, if you mentioned just the hey, what do you do if someone's available at 10 or quarterback's available at 10? Do you trade back? I think if you've done any mock drafts at all, really, and you've seen at 10 a quarterback being available, look at how many extra trade options you get. I don't care
Yes.
what platform you use, PFF, Draft Network, whatever you use. There's a ton more draft options if one of those top quarterbacks is available at 10. And that is at least realistic. Now, we have no clue what's going to happen, obviously, on draft night, but it's realistic that if a top quarterback is available, Howie's going to have a lot of calls. Then if someone's like, hey, you want to move up? You want to get this quarterback? Is this your guy? The only question to me, or kind of the, I guess, red flag would be if it's Washington, I'm probably not doing it unless they give away the whole farm for it. Because like we mentioned with the Chase Young comment, you just really don't want to give any help to your division rivals. So I think that's the only one that I'd be out on. But yeah, totally to your point, if a quarterback's available, I mean, look out. There could be multiple selections and great selections that you're picking up for that. And you move back, who knows, 5 selections, 6, 7, whatever, and you're coming away with a great draft.